So yeah, it's been quite a while. Hello, it's Sonia here with The Pretty Stitch. Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time joining me, I'm so happy to have you here. So today's video is going to be an update video. It's been a hot minute since I've done an update video. I think the last one was actually March, and this is actually the end of July. This video, it might get up still in time for July, or it might be early August when I get it all edited. But I've been really busy pretty much since the last video came out, the update video in March. It's just been nonstop, and unfortunately it's not been crochet related or knit related. So those of you that don't know what I usually post on here, I usually post crochet or knit related things like patterns, stitch tutorials, things like that. So if you're interested in that, I'd love it if you like or subscribe. And once in a while I do post some lifestyle things, and I might be posting more of those in the future, but we'll get into that in a little bit as we catch up about what's been going on. So yeah, it's been quite a while. Pretty much since the last video, I have been nonstop. My youngest daughter joined track and field, which was amazing, and we were really busy. Just the meets were literally all over the county, and the county I live in is pretty large, so unfortunately it wasn't like short travel times. At least it was before the gas prices really shot up, but it was still, got a little expensive with all the traveling. But she did really well. It was her very first time trying spring track, and she kind of was just doing it for the experience, and then ended up really liking it. And she never thought she'd like running because she's more of a horse girl, but she really liked it, and can't wait to do it again. And then we had the end of school, and then I decided to do a yard sale. For those of you that don't know, I lost my husband about almost a year and a half ago, and he was a little bit of a hoarder with some things. He had a lot of tools, like excessive amounts of tools, and so I decided, we have to pare down a little bit. I need to be able to walk in my garage. It's, as I say, I call it the shimmy and the shake, because you have to shimmy through here and shake through there to kind of get to things, and it gets really frustrating at times because I'm always banging into stuff. And now that I am the sole owner of this house, I'm doing yard work, things like that, so I need to be able to function and move in my garage. So a yard sale was definitely in order, and it went okay. It was hard. It was really hard. I usually love yard sales. I love doing yard sales. I love meeting people. I actually think it's fun. I know it's a ton of work, but this one was probably, I'd say, the worst one that I've ever done. I mean, I didn't do too badly as far as selling things, but it was just a lot of emotional stuff attached to it, because usually before I would sell things that didn't really have, I guess, an emotional attachment, and because these were my husband's things, it was really difficult, just to deal with all of that. And unfortunately, I still have so much to deal with. I mean, we barely scratched the surface, but you have to start somewhere. So I don't know if I'm going to do another yard sale anytime soon. I'll have to think of something. I know people have suggested auctions and things like that, which unfortunately where I live, they tend to want to sell your entire house and all the contents, like an estate auction type thing. And I don't want to move, so I still need to live here, and I only need to kind of downsize a little bit. And then someone told me about this other auction that kind of helps with that, but then I saw bad reviews and they rip people off. So I don't know. I'm kind of in a conundrum with what to do with all that. And I know there's Facebook Marketplace, but I feel like in our area where we live, like the local Facebook Marketplace, people are kind of nasty. I hate to say it, but they just are. Like, someone innocently posts something, and all these people have to, like, as I say, poop all over it, or you're asking too much, or this or that. And I'm just thinking, look, if you're not interested, scroll on by. You do not need to leave a rude comment, or say you're charging too much, or this is a piece of junk, or whatever. Like, I feel like it's completely unnecessary. It's mean, it's hurtful, and I don't usually get too bent out of shape about that, but because these are my husband's things, and losing him was really hard, it wasn't expected, the loss, and so I just don't feel like dealing with nastiness. Like, I already have so much to deal with, you know, with the emotional aspects because it belonged to him, and then have to deal with crappy people. So I'm kind of like torn about Facebook Marketplace. So, I mean, my options are kind of limited. I need to do something, but hopefully, you know, I believe in God, and hopefully He'll help me figure it all out. And, you know, and I don't have to like do everything right now. I do have a problem where it does bother me, and I want to kind of get it settled, but I'm kind of learning that sometimes things take time, and I just need to kind of just calm down about it, and you know, it will eventually take care of itself. So that's part of what's been going on. And then after that, we my daughter went to camp where we used to live, and then I went up there for a long weekend, hoping to visit some old friends, and unfortunately that kind of fell through a little bit. I mean, I was still up there. I got to see a couple people, but it didn't pan out the way I had hoped. And so I had a little mini meltdown about that, because I think it's kind of hitting me now that it's been over a year that I am, you know, I'm really alone now. And that's kind of hard. I mean, I have my kids, I have family, I have friends, and they're wonderful. And I have God and all that, but you know, I was married for 27 years, and now it's just really, as like the dust has settled down from the initial shock of losing him, it's, you know, now like, okay, this is my life. I am alone, and you know, I don't like that, but you know, there's nothing I can do about it, and I just need to kind of figure things out. And so yeah, I had a little mini breakdown, but once I picked my daughter up from camp, we did have a couple nice days together because we didn't come home right away. And she's a good like traveling buddy, so I was really happy to have her with me. So that ended up it being an okay weekend away. And then we came back. So I forgot that I had limited space on the camera card, so I'm not sure where that left off, but I guess I was sharing about my weekend picking my daughter up from camp. And then when we came back from that, we brought her friend from where we used to live, and she spent a week with us, and that was super fun. And she's a great kid. We love having her here. She's just one of those kids that I'm sure those of you that have children, and when you have certain friends of your kids come over, some friends you're kind of like a little tense. Not that they're bad kids, but you kind of have to keep your guard up a little bit because you're just not sure what they're going to get into. Or then you have these other friends that you can just kind of sit back and relax, and you know, and it's all fine. So thank goodness she was one of those. And yeah, we love having her. She's just a great kid, and been such a good friend to my daughter, you know, through everything that we've been through. So we were so happy to have her with us. And then she went home, and we got ready to go away to Florida. And we spent almost 2 weeks in Florida visiting. I have family in Florida near the Orlando area that I hadn't seen in a few years. So that was really great to see them. And we also went to Captiva Island, which is, if you're not sure where that is, it's on the Gulf side of Florida, which would be, if you're looking at the map of Florida, it would be towards the west. And I'd always wanted to go to a beach that had clearer water and warmer water. When my husband was alive, we did not go on vacation. My husband did not like to travel at all. If he couldn't drive to it in a day, he was like, nope, we're not doing it. He just didn't like staying overnight in places, and that's fine. You know, that wasn't his thing. But I always liked to travel, and, you know, when we were married, I just, you know, didn't get the opportunity. So after he passed, I wanted to do a family vacation with just myself and my kids to kind of have some new memories. So we went to Captiva Island, and we had a great time. My son is a lot like his dad, so I think he's more of a long weekend kind of guy, so that was a little bit of a long trip for him, but he hung in there, and I think he had fun, and my girls had a good time. We drove, so that was a little intense. The traffic was like, whoa, that wasn't fun. Getting there was extremely difficult. I looked into flying, and it just was too expensive, and I know there's issues with airlines and all that, and I just didn't want to take a chance of something getting canceled or whatever. So we drove. It was an adventure for sure. And then, you know, we drove back, and that was quite horrendous. But, you know, praise God, we got home safely, and then we picked our dog up from boarding, and unfortunately he got a little injury when he was there. We didn't notice it right away because he's mostly husky. If you looked at him, you would say he's husky, but he has like a teeny weeny bit of Pomeranian in him. So he's got a lot of fur, and so we didn't pick up on it right away, and they might not have either at the boarding place. You know, things happen with dogs. I'm not mad at them. We've used them before. You know, stuff happens. He's an animal. They're unpredictable sometimes. But he got a little infection from that, so we had to deal with that. So, you know, it's been a lot of stuff going on, so not a lot of time to knit or crochet, but I do have some things to share with you, and I thought I would update you about what I plan on doing on my channel in the near future. Now that I do have a little more time, all the trips are over. I don't think I'm going anywhere else right now. I did just get back from a long weekend with my sisters because it was my one sister's birthday, and we wanted to, kind of a milestone birthday, so we wanted to do like a weekend, and now that our kids are older, we can do that, which is really nice. So that was really fun, but now I think the trips are over for at least for a little bit, and I can now really focus on my channel and putting out more content and actually crocheting and knitting more, because I just really haven't had a lot of time and I really, really miss it. So the one thing that I've been doing for a while, and those of you that have stuck with me, I have something called the Stitch of the Week, which is I always have it on Wednesdays, where I post a crochet stitch or a Tunisian crochet, because I do that as well, stitch every Wednesday, a tutorial. And I'm almost to 100 with those, and I'm going to cap it off at 100. I said that before, I think in my last update video, and I still plan on doing that. And part of the reasoning is I don't get a lot of views on it, which is fine. I enjoyed doing it, but I'm kind of ready to do something else now, and I would like to do some other things, and they can be a little time consuming, especially trying to like figure out a stitch and then filming it and all that stuff. So I think I'm just kind of, it's run its course, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So I'm going to be ending that at 100. So I think I have about 5 more weeks to go, and then that will be done. So I'm actually really excited about that. And what I thought I would do next, after I'm done with the Stitch of the Week, is I have all those stitches, so I thought I should do something with them. So I have started a few, and I'll show you what I've started, is taking some of those stitches and making a block out of them, which you could use for like if you wanted to make a whole bunch of blocks, you can make a blanket, or if you just wanted to make like a little sampler or a dishcloth. A lot of them would be suitable for like a small dishcloth or a scrubby. So if you wanted to use some cotton yarn, I really love dishcloths, homemade ones. I think they're great. Maybe even depending on the size of the hook you use and the yarn, maybe you could even make a pillow out of these blocks. You know, it's just whatever you want to do with it. So I've already made 2 of them. I've already filmed them. I'm not sure when I'm going to put them out. I don't know if it's going to be weekly or monthly. We're going to see how it goes. But that is something that I'm planning on doing, and I'm actually actively working on it right now. And I still plan on doing 18-inch doll or American Girl doll clothing. That seems to be fairly popular on the channel, and I really do love doing them. I started my crochet journey writing my own patterns and all that with American Girl dolls, so they're always going to hold a special place in my heart, because this is kind of where all this started. So that's something that in the near future, hopefully you'll see a little bit more of that. I still have one pattern that I've shown in my last video, and I still am editing that. It's just with all the stuff that's been going on in my life, I just haven't had time to sit and edit. And when I edit those type of patterns, I write them at the same time, so it is a bit time consuming to edit the video and then write out the pattern at the same time. And you want to make sure the written pattern is accurate and as error-free as possible. And so yeah, it just takes a lot to do that, but I like doing it that way. So I think I'm about halfway done, and I just was thinking to myself, I really need to make the push to get it done, and then I can work on some other ones. I've also started thinking about my 12 days series. So at Christmas time, I like to do a 12 days of something leading up to Christmas. Last year it only ended up being 10 days because it was the first Christmas without my husband, and I didn't plan it very well, and I just kind of imploded right before Christmas. So I got 10 done before, and then the final, it was either, maybe it was 9 or 10, I forget, but I did end up completing the series. It just took me a while to get the other 2 or 3 out, but I'm trying to be a little bit more with it this time and prepared, so I'm already starting to think of that. So I think I might be doing 12 days of cowls. I love cowls, things around the neck. I hate having a cold neck. I wear them all the time, and I thought I should just do a whole series of them. So I think that's what this year's theme is going to be. It's all going to be all about the cowl. Hopefully there'll be some crocheted ones, knitted ones, or maybe one knitted one. I don't knit as well as I crochet, and some Tunisian ones. So I actually have already started on one, and I'm actually really, really loving the way it's turning out. So hopefully when you guys see it, you'll really love it too, and it's pretty easy to do. And I also thought I'd like to kind of do a little bit more lifestyle things, maybe talk about being a widow. People ask me questions about that a lot, and I think people feel like when you're a widow, I guess I'm a younger widow. I'm not as young as people think I am. I'm going to be 50, so I feel like that's not really young, but it's also not really old. And I mean, it is kind of young to be a widow, I guess. Yeah, I thought maybe I'd do something about that, because people wonder about that, and I think they think we're like some weird, I don't know, when people find out you're a widow, like, it gets weird sometimes. That's the only way I can think of it. And I guess, you know, it's not a really pleasant subject, and people don't want to think about things like that. But unfortunately, you know, it's reality of life. It happens. And so I thought maybe I would talk about that a little bit besides my crocheting, knitting thing. But the main part of this channel will, of course, always be my crocheting and knitting. I love sharing what I do. I love, you know, teaching techniques or whatever. I really, really love it, and that's why I do it. So since my last update video, I have actually acquired some yarn. I thought I would share my yarn haul. I've done a little bit of thrifting here and there. I do love to go thrifting, and I've actually found some really neat yarn at some thrift stores for an amazing deal. I went up north to where my daughter goes to camp, and I spent a weekend there. I did teach a class at a local yarn store where we used to live, and it was a Tunisian class. And in payment, she gifted me some yarn from her store, because she had asked me, you know, well, what do I owe you? And I was like, oh, you know, you don't owe me anything. I know this person from when I did live up there. I used to belong to a small knitting crochet group that we would meet at the local library, and that's how I met her. And at the time, she didn't have a yarn store, but of course after I moved, she opened up her store. When I found out about her store, I visited there last year, and she had suggested or asked me, you know, oh, if you ever come back, you know, could you teach a class? So I told her I was coming back, and so she asked me, and so I thought, well, why don't we do Tunisian, because a lot of people aren't familiar with it. And then as payment, she gifted me yarn. So I have a really nice little yarn haul from her, and also from the thrift store. So I thought I'd share that. I also do have just a little bit of projects that I did finish, so I thought I would share those. I'll start with the unfinished projects first that I've been working on. And so I am making this blanket here. So here it is. It's just a basic ripple blanket, and you can see there's a whole lot of different colors. And I actually do plan on giving this to one of my nieces. Hopefully I can have it done before I wanted to do it as a graduation gift, and she's not graduating till 2023, so I have a little bit of time, so hopefully I can get this thing done. I might put this out as a pattern. I'm not sure yet, because it is just a basic ripple with a little bit different with the slip stitching, but it would be a nice pattern. You know, you could use this as a blanket for, you know, like my niece who's going to be 18, or you could also make a baby blanket with this stitch pattern as well, and it could be for a boy or girl. So it would be a versatile pattern. So maybe this will be one that will be coming out and you'll be seeing it soon, so we'll see how that goes. And my next unfinished project is a cowl that I told you I was going to be working on, or doing another 12-day series, and I think it's going to be 12 days of cowl, so I need to get started on that. So I actually started on this pattern, and the yarn that I'm using for this was gifted to me from teaching that class, and I'm not sure of what it is because she had a bin of yarn, I guess like a clearance bin of some yarn that some labels had come off or whatever. So I just fell in love with these two skeins of yarn, but I don't know what they are. But this one I think might be sock yarn, and then this one I don't know, or sock or fingering weight. It's definitely a fingering weight, but I thought the colors really look pretty together. And so I thought I wanted to make a cowl out of it. So here we go. I've started it. And with this pattern, I think this could be one that you could use whatever yarn you wanted, whatever hook you wanted. I am using a 3.75 millimeter hook to make this, or an F hook. And again, this is fingering weight yarn, but you could certainly make this with worsted weight or sport or whatever DK weight yarn you wanted. And with this one, you'll be able to make it as wide or as, if you wanted like a thin little cowl, but I'm going to see how wide I can get this, use up. I'm hoping to use up, just about all of this yarn. So my next project that I am working on is one of those blocks or, blanket squares, whatever you want to call them. I guess they're not really square, they're kind of rectangle. So we're going to call it a block, and this is one I'm currently working on right now in this like mustard colored yarn, and it's worsted weight yarn. So all the blocks that I will be featuring on the channel will be made with worsted weight yarn or number 4. But you can certainly use whatever yarn you would like. I have a lot of worsted weight yarn. I'm just trying to use it up. But this is a Tunisian stitch that I had done a couple months ago, a Tunisian stitch of the week. I think it's I call it the running chain stitch. I have never seen this stitch before. I don't think I reinvented the wheel. I don't think I invented this stitch, but I was just playing around one day and just the stitch popped up. I do have a project, a scarf that I made using this stitch, and I just think it's a really fun stitch, and I thought it would make a really cute block. So this is one that's in progress, and I have 2 more projects to show you that are actually done. I just need to weave in the ends, and they are 2 more blocks that I've completed. So the one here is the one, and this incorporates the braided cable stitch of the week that I did a while ago, and I'll put links in the description box of any pattern that I'm talking about, except for the ones that I haven't made yet. But I have a whole playlist of Stitch of the Week, so if you're interested in just checking that out, I will have links for that. And then my other one that I have finished actually incorporates 2 stitches of the week. So here it is, and this one is, I don't know if it's showing up really well. I'm using I think it's the crossed single crochet stitch, and I made this one a while ago, so I'm trying to remember which one. I filmed it, so I'll have to look back at my footage, but I'm pretty sure it's cross single crochet stitch, and definitely, I'm looking at it right here, and it's definitely the cross single crochet, and I believe I did the herringbone half double crochet stitch and combined it in this one square, and I really love this one. Actually, it's very subtle, but that's one of the reasons why I like it. If you look at it initially, it might not be like that exciting, but when you really look at it, I just think it's really pretty in its subtlety, if that makes sense. So this one I really like a lot, actually. Those are the ones that I have finished so far. I'm not sure how many I'm going to make, but hopefully at least maybe 10, and then you can kind of piece them together to make a blanket if you want, or whatever you wanted to do with it. So those are all the projects that I have right now. It's a pitiful amount, I know, but I do have a lot of yarn to show you. I'll start with a thrifted yarn that I found. So I have just a small bag here. So here is a bag of yarn that I found, I believe it was Goodwill, and I picked it up, I think it was $3 or like $2.99, so with tax, three some dollars. And I picked it up because I'm fairly certain there is no tag or anything on this yarn, but I'm pretty sure this is Knit Picks Stroll tonal yarn, and I have used it before and absolutely loved it. It really, not this colorway, it was like a pink, but it feels like it looks like it, so I'm 99.9% sure that it is. So $2.99 for a full skein of this is a steal. I think it might be $20 if you bought it online. But this one is a gorgeous green. I just absolutely love it. And then the other one that was in the little bag was this blue, and it feels like it's the same brand, the Knit Picks Stroll. So I'm like I said before, I'm 99.9% sure it is, and I loved working with it. It's a merino yarn, a really soft hand. I made a hat with this for my daughter years ago, and it washes up well. I hand wash it and then just let it dry, and it still doesn't pill. It's just really nice yarn, and so for $2.99 to get 2 colorways is an absolute steal. So I was super excited to find this. I have 2 bags here, right here. They all came in one big bag, but the bag ripped, so I just kind of split it up here. A whole medley of different types of yarn. So one of them was this is cotton yarn, and I'm not sure what the brand is, but I'm sure it's a worsted weight. But it was wrapped in these weird cardboard cards, I guess. I think I have one. Yeah, here. So there's probably at least 200 yards of this yarn. It's there was a whole bunch of these, and it was just wrapped around these cards, and they're like taped together. It's kind of weird. So I've been putting them into balls. I'm not quite done yet, but it's just going to be easier to work with it than having it in this weird cardboard. So, and then also in the bag was this yarn. This is merino wool. I think definitely a fingering weight. And there's a whole bunch of different colorways of this yarn. And I guess the people that had gotten it had put it into balls, which was really nice. And they had the label tucked inside of it so you knew what it was. And this one is called Puri 100% Merino Wool. Brooklyn Tweed, I guess. I've heard of that. So I guess it's Brooklyn Tweed is the brand or who sells it, and they call it Puri. And it's definitely fingering weight, 210 yards, and it's a really pretty, like a dusty purple, and it feels, oops, dropped the label, feels really nice. And there's a couple of these. Let's see. So here we have like a slate blue color one, and we have a green, we have a darker green, and we have like a bluish green one here. And so I'm probably gonna make I'm thinking I might make a shawl out of this because I love shawls made out of merino wool. So I looked up how much this yarn would cost if you bought it online, and I believe you still can buy it online. It's $17.25 a skein. So I definitely have 1, 2, 3 complete skeins, and then this one is not complete. And one of them also, the slate blue, feels, or like gray, it's like a grayish blue, feels slightly incomplete. So we'll just say that combine them together, I have 4 skeins of this yarn. So I did the math, and that's $69 for these skeins of yarn right here. So I mean, and again, I got all of this in one big bag at Goodwill for $2.99. So highly recommend, if you are going to Goodwill, just scan those aisles because you never know what you can find. So moving on with my Goodwill yarn haul find, we have this yarn here, and it's called Black Isle Yarns. And I do believe this is from Scotland. This was from Scotland, and I'm sure it's decate weight yarn, and it's 100% wool, and so it's slightly scratchy, but not too bad. And I think once I make something with it and give it a light block and use some conditioner, I think it'll be really nice. And I really like the colors in these. It's greens and a cream, and I actually really love cream, and it looks really, really nice together. And I think this is pretty complete here. So I just paused and did a little research on the Black Isle yarns here. So it looks like they have an online shop, which I could link it if you are interested in seeing it. And this, I believe, is a mini skein set. I don't think they have this particular one. I couldn't find it on their shop, but it looks like it probably cost, if you ordered it online, about 33 pounds. So if you're converting that, most of my viewers are from the US, to US dollars, that's about $40. So again, I got this whole little mini skein set in that bag for $2.99 in US dollars. So I mean, really great deal. So as I like to say, but wait, there's more. We have more in that same bag. So here is some cotton yarn. It's 109 yards. It's by Erica Knight, and it's, I don't know how to say this, I'm probably saying it completely wrong, but Gossypium, maybe it's Gossypium, I don't know. So if you know how it's pronounced, let me know. So this Erica Knight yarn, I looked it up, it's about $6 a skein, so pretty budget friendly even if you were buying it full price. But again, I got 3 of them. There's 3, so it looks like 2 of the same colorway, and then there is another one of, the label fell off, but it actually was just hanging out in the bag, and it feels like the other yarn is this pretty blue color, which might not show up because I'm wearing, this is blue, my background's blue. I didn't think it through when I was filming, but so I got 3 skeins of this. So again, if I would have bought it, you know, full price online, that would have been $9, or I mean not $9, $18. 6 times 3, 18 plus tax. So again, a really great deal. And we still have more yarn. So this video, I'm sorry, is very long. So still in that same bag of yarn that I got from Goodwill, we have some more. And it's this multicolored yarn. It's 100% wool. And the yarn, let's see what it's called. It's called Plied, a yarn company. So I looked up the Plied Yarns website, and this yarn is called John Waters. And John Waters, the name sounded slightly familiar, so I googled it, and he's a filmmaker. So I don't know if the yarn is named after him. It possibly could be, but I have 3 of them, and I have one. It's like a blue and pink. It's like plied together. It's definitely 100% wool. I mean, it says so on the card too. And I have one of this colorway, and I'm not sure how much yardage. Okay, it says here it's 215 yards, and I would say it's probably like a fingering weight type yarn, maybe slightly heavier than that. And then I have 2 more of them in a similar colorway here. It's like, here's one here. It's almost like a burgundy and a green twist, and here's another one. I guess, well, no, this one's more burgundy and green, and then this one's like a green and orange, maybe. So again, it's called John Waters, and I looked up the price of this yarn, and it's $28 a skein. So if I would have bought it on their website, it would have been about $80-some. So again, you know, it was a great deal for me on Goodwill. That was my Goodwill find, so I was really excited about all that. So a really great deal. So I just did some math on my yarn score that I got from the 2 thrift stores. I believe they both came from Goodwill. But total altogether, I got about over $250 worth of yarn for $6 plus tax for $250 worth of yarn, which is an amazing score, I think. So as I said before, if you like thrifting, you know, check out the yarn. Sometimes, you know, you might find an amazing deal, and you just never know. I haven't lately. I was actually just thrifting with my sisters yesterday, and they did have some yarn, but it was just, you know, like Red Heart Super Saver, which, you know, that's fine, but you know, it wasn't anything that I was looking for, anything to get excited about. So now I'm going to show you some more yarn that I got from the woman that owns the yarn store that I taught the class. So some of this yarn was gifted to me, and some of it I did buy, because I didn't think it was fair for me to be like, oh, just give me all this yarn, because there was quite a lot of yarn that I liked. So she gave me some, and then I bought some as well. So first off, I have this really beautiful fingering weight yarn that I am currently working at winding into a ball, as you can see here. I wish I had a winder, but I don't. I just got to use the old hands that God gave me here. And this yarn is from the Alpaca Yarn Company, and it's called Paca Peds or Paca Peds, and it's hand dyed. It's 20% superfine alpaca, 65% superwash wool, 15% nylon, and it's 440 yards. And it's this really beautiful red. I love red. Purple's my favorite color, red is my second favorite color, and I just saw this yarn and fell in love with it, and I just thought it was so pretty, and I needed to have it. And then another yarn that I got from her store, it's from Briggs Little. It's called Heritage. It's 100% wool, and it's definitely a heavier weight. I might even say it's, well, maybe it's worsted, maybe slightly heavier than that, but it's a really pretty, oops, there's a piece of random yarn there, but it's a really pretty purple color, and I thought this would make a really nice hat or cowl, and it is 100% wool, but it actually feels pretty nice. Some wool, you know, can be quite scratchy. This one's not too bad, and I just thought the color was super pretty. It is purple. It might look black on camera, but I love me a dark purple, so I need to have this one too. And this is that same yarn. I didn't realize, I got 2 skeins of this beautiful purple color of the Briggs Little, and there is, let's see, there's yardage. So there's 215 yards. So that's 430 yards for altogether, which is a nice amount of yardage. So the next one that I have here, I was able to wind this one into a ball, and again, it's the same. It's Briggs Little Heritage yarn, and it's 100% wool. And again, this one has 215 yards, and it looks kind of, I'm looking at my viewfinder there. It looks brighter than in real life. It's more of like a muted pink color. So I liked this yarn because it was a little bit heavier weight, and sometimes when you're using heavier weight, then the projects work up faster. And I just thought the color was really pretty, and I liked the way it felt too. So we have yet another ball of Briggs Little Heritage yarn. I really this was, I think I bought this and it was a pretty good deal, $8, but I really liked it, and I think I bought these 2 colors to go together because I do like blue. It's a real pretty blue, and this pink, I thought it would look pretty making something with it together. So we've got 3 more skeins of yarn in my big yarn haul here. So this one's not very exciting. It's a giant jumbo Red Heart Super Saver. It's black. She actually doesn't sell this yarn in her store, but she had special ordered it for somebody, and then I guess I didn't pick it up, so she had it in her clearance bin, and I took it because I am making a ginormous Tunisian blanket for my nephew that it's been taking me, I think I've been working on it for 2 years, and it's a Star Wars theme. It's going to be completely awesome, I hope, when it's done, but it's using a lot of black, and so I took it for that, for his blanket, because I know that I'm probably going to be running out of black soon, and this saves me from having to go to the store. And I think she was only selling it for $3 or no, $5, which I think she gave this one to me for teaching the class, which was really nice of her to do that. So this will be going for the big ginormous Star Wars blanket. My nephew's a grown man, and I wanted to make sure that, you know, the blanket will cover him. I haven't shown it yet. It's really big. I think it's going to be really awesome when it's done. It's just taken me a while, but it's a Star Wars theme and uses a lot of black, so this will come in handy. And my final 2 skeins of yarn were these 2 little guys. One's a green, they're like a heathered green, and this is like a purple. It's like a, yeah, it's like a heathered purple. I'm not sure what it is. This was in her clearance bin, but it is so soft. I'm like, oh, I kept touching it and I thought the colors looked pretty together. And she was like, hey, if you want them, you can have them. And I'm like, okay. I mean, she was only selling them for $2. But it feels like it's either like a bamboo or something like that, or a cotton. It's definitely not like a wool or anything like that, but it's definitely a natural fiber. So I have worked with bamboo before, and I'm getting bamboo. I'm combining words. I do that a lot. I'm getting bamboo vibes from this yarn, and so this I think would be pretty for like an ear warmer or a lightweight cowl, especially if it's bamboo, like a spring cowl. And again, I just thought the colors were really pretty. So I'm sure I'll be able to come up with something with this yarn, and I'm really happy to have it. And then I had shown you that other yarn that I already started the cowl with, and that also came from that same yarn store. So that is my entire yarn haul and my projects that I have for you today. So yeah, hopefully there'll be a lot more exciting things coming up in the future, some projects and patterns and all that stuff. I hope you enjoyed this video if you lasted through it, and I really appreciate it if you did. And if you did, please like and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.